Ian.
Okay, well, I was actually going to ask you, do you guys have any crazy interview stories or any bad interviews? Have you ever been on one and you're like, this is just
Bless
going
you.
terrible. I'm not getting this job and I just kind of want to walk out. Have you guys ever had one?
Yeah, definitely. I have had that happen to me before.
Do you feel like
Did you
sharing?
walk out?
It was actually a phone interview.
Really?
Going through a
And
tunnel.
kind of. I was at the current job I was at, and I mean, it wasn't like a job that I really liked. I would definitely wanted to go, and this one that I got the call for was actually my job at my first visual effects like lighting job, right?
Yeah.
That's what the interview was for. And so I snuck out in the middle of like my work day and like took a call because they wanted to do the interview. And so they started asking me questions. I didn't like, obviously, this is early on in my career. I was super nervous talking to these people. And at one point in the interview, they asked me to describe something in my demo reel. And I didn't have it in front of me. Like I couldn't watch it because I was just in my phone, my car,
Yeah.
like taking a phone call. And at one point in the call, they asked me something and I like blanked. And it was like dead silence over the phone for like a solid 10, 15 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, locked up. I didn't know what to say. And I was just like, oh my God, like this is like, I like have ruined this interview. I can't even answer their question. Like it's dead silence. They're not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. Like what is going to happen? So I was like starting to like shake, I was like so nervous. I was like, oh, sorry. Like I can't, I didn't want to tell them. I'm like, yeah, I'm like on my, break or not even taking a break. I'm just like walking out of my current job to like take this phone call.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing was emailing the recruiter guy after. I was like, I'm so sorry, I messed that up. And I think the saving grace, because I ended up getting the job,
Really?
God.
was that I was local already in LA.
Yeah, it works.
And what they basically were doing for this like apprenticeship program is grabbing like recent college graduates to come, and then they would like fly them out and like let them stay in LA, like in a hotel for 2 weeks and decide if they were like good enough to get like a formal job. And I was like, well, I'm already in LA. And like, I seriously, like when I said that, the interviewer or like the recruiter guy, he was like, oh, like I could hear like something click. He was like, oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh.
You're
I was
hired.
like, don't worry too much, man. Like, yeah, we'll get back to you. And like, I was like, okay. And
Yeah,
sure
so
enough,
spend
like,
money to fly him out.
yeah, exactly.
or
They had to
hotel.
put me up in a hotel and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, he'll just drive out here on his own dime.
It's crazy how big of a difference that makes.
And that literally, yeah, like I got the apprenticeship and that let me get a job at Rhythm and Hughes, and like I wouldn't be here now if that hadn't happened. So it like they always say like, when you're done with college, just move out to LA if you want to do a job. And I was like, I had been out there like 6 months working unpaid internship, and I was like almost out of money, like ready to leave.
Isn't
so
that
it was
nuts?
definitely, yeah. If I had not been there though, I would not have got the job. So
It's so crazy.
yeah, it's pretty nuts how that can happen.
It's wild because what if you didn't get that and like you were forced to go back to Texas or something? You know what I
I
mean?
would be
Like,
it would have been extremely difficult. Like I'd probably end up doing like video stuff for like my church.
it's, yeah, it's
Yeah.
so fascinating to me how like just 1 month window and your whole life could be
Yeah,
different.
and because that's the thing, I had been applying for jobs all summer, right? And I'd never got any emails back, no calls back, anything. And then within like 3 weeks, I got the job I was working at then was just like a shitty entry level like roto job, and then I got the call for this job, the like for the lighting job, which is what I wanted to do.
We have
I was
you
just like,
paused
You-
currently in the best face.
really?
Yeah. Do you want to turn off your video and turn it back on really quick?
No.
Absolutely not. It's the best face.
Yeah. Okay. The
Oh, now
great-
you're frozen on mine, Clay.
Oh, am I? Oh.
Yeah.
I hope my. Can you take a snapshot of that then?
Yeah, probably.
Are we all frozen or no?
Oh, damn it. No, you came back.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, I cut you off. Oh. All right. No.
Am I good?
Yeah.
No.
It's
You're
loading back
loading.
up.
Yes.
Okay.
But it
turn-
sounds like you.
This fucking garbage man.
Oh shit! Are we doing this?
You-
Okay,
you said
so-
you're gonna
Turn
do
it, turn it, turn
You
it.
gotta
No,
do
he's
it.
not coming down my street. He's not coming down my street. What the fuck? Like, you need to rethink your life. You're gonna be out here a lot longer than you have to be. Like, no joke. What the fuck is he doing?
Steven versus the
I mean,
garbage
you got.
man.
We have it on here, right? How many times he's come out? You hear
yeah.
that, right?
Yeah, I hear it. Oh, yeah.
All right.
It's ridiculous. If he turned.
It's getting louder.
Yeah, he's going back down that way.
I didn't realize
So
Saturday
stupid.
mornings are garbage day.
Yeah, that's weird.
Wednesday and Saturdays, yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
All right.
Yeah.
Does
So
anybody
that's
else?
that's pretty interesting, Alan. That's pretty
Yeah, it
cool
was.
that-
I seriously, when I locked up like that, I thought it was over. That there was no way they would hire me because I can't even talk about my own work that I should be really familiar with. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have one coming up. I
Really?
just got an email for BioScript. It's saying that we have received your application for our. This is the thing, right? I wanted to get a tech position, right? Okay, but they
Okay.
didn't have a tech position available. So I saw this.
Can you describe what a tech position is really quick?
Okay, so our pharmacy tech position. So you're doing either doing IVs, like TPNs, you're packing, just getting out scripts, typing scripts, like prescriptions and everything like that. So they didn't have that position. So I saw something else that says intake/authorization coordinator. I don't know what that is. So I went in there
Go for
and
it.
I was reading the description and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, okay, all right, some of that. I was like, I could probably do all that. I could do that. So I applied for that position. So let's
Hey.
hope everything goes good, because I'm pretty sure I can still do the position. But as
Hell
far
yeah.
as to talk my way through it and maybe bullshit my way through it to get that, because let's be honest, like you can do a job, especially if you're trained and everything like that. It didn't say you
Yeah,
needed
yeah.
any years experience. It just says that you need to have some kind of customer service experience. Hey, I've been working at CVS 6-7 years almost now.
Yeah.
But that's what's gonna be fun. So I might have something fun to do that. But I remember the worst interview I went on was I had long hair.
Yes, I want a picture of that.
I had long hair, like skateboarder, surfer type thing. I was in a bad time in my life. I was just trying to get a job. I started at CVS. I went to the one up in 49th and Park or whatever by my house, and I go up, and this should have been a red flag immediately. I go up and my boss at the time comes up to me and gives me a drug application test. And before she hands me it, she looks at me and she goes, "You're going to pass this, right?"
Jesus.
Because I don't want to waste
Did
your
you go-
time or my time. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to pass this. You know what I mean? But who says that?
Yeah.
You know what
I
I mean?
don't know.
Like, who says that? As far as, that should have been a red flag, because first of all, she's the worst boss I've ever fucking had in my life. She's so mean, such a
Is
bitch.
it still your boss?
No, but she's in
Oh.
another store still. She still works there. Yeah, but it should have been a red flag right at the beginning. Like, I should have just...
Bro. God, I want him to drive down your street
I'm
so
not
bad.
even... He's right here.
Turn! Go! Go!
Oh,
Go!
Like, for
Go!
real.
Go! You said you were gonna do it. You better get up.
No.
No!
He just.
And that's the last time we ever saw Steve.
There wasn't even any garbage in that fucking thing. What is he doing? There wasn't even any garbage in that.
Yeah.
Dude, we lost your camera.
Yeah, we lost your camera.
Oh, Steve.
we just
Okay.
have you in your football outfit.
Yeah, yeah, with a big smile. Yeah, there you go.
There wasn't
man.
even any garbage in
Did
that
you? Did
thing.
you just? We lost it. You ran away, and then we lost your camera. So did you just flip him off? Did you yell at him?
You should have yelled.
I should have yelled.
Okay.
I don't think he could hear me over
I
that
guess
thing.
you don't want to piss off your garbage man, because you can come out there and your
And
garbage.
he never
is
picks up your
That's a
garbage
good
ever
point.
again either.
He probably will.
Yeah.
I would say I've had some bad interviews in the past. The worst interview I had was no,
Just kidding.
no, that was a great interview experience. So if they're watching,
That's so
no,
funny.
no, but my worst interview experience was I want to be vague enough because I don't want to call out people or whatever. But it was sprung on me at the last minute. I was coming in for something, I thought I was doing contracting. At the last minute, where they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna have an interview," and I was like, not prepared at all. So I sat in the room with 3 other people. One of them being the owner of the
This is a
company.
game development company.
Yeah, and I was asked a couple questions, pretty roundabout questions, and then the owner took a very defensive / offensive mentality with me and was really probing me to almost in a combative way of well, why what do you even do? Like, what are your skills? And I'm trying to describe, like, I'm a game designer, and I was like, so, you know, I'm working on different designs, systems, creations. You know, I'm also a content designer, so I'm creating the entertaining things that the player is witnessing and pacing that accordingly. He's like, but no, but what are your skills? Like, what do you do? Blah blah blah. I was like, well, I mean, those are my skills. I'm a game designer. He's like, I'm the owner of a company, but my skills is I'm a coder. I don't code, but that's my base point. I was like, okay. And so I was like, and I was struggling because I was like, but this is so in one sentence, he's basically demeaning my ability to be a game designer and all game designers for that point. And I was like, I write design documents and stuff. And he's
it's
like,
kind of like that thing on anger management, man, where he's like, who are you?
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah. Like, who are you?
I'm a guy. You know, I like things. You're telling us your hobbies right now.
Yeah.
I just want to know who you are. You know, it's like you're like, what the fuck, man?
yeah, dude.
That's
So
all I
it was
could
like
figure
that,
out.
except he was really like pissed and unimpressed. And so
So weird.
and he's like, I've been to game companies and I've seen what game designers do. They do some work and then they're sitting around doing nothing for months. And I was like, wow, that really offends me. I just came away from like people being laid off, and you're trying to tell me people I've worked with that I know of who have busted their humps, who've missed key points in their children's development and like their families, who've worked crazy nights. You're telling me they don't do
Did you
anything.
tell him that?
No. But I
Oh.
was so pissed, and I didn't know how to. And this is like very early on in my career. I didn't know how to really necessarily like deal with this. So I just kind of like kept to the script. I was like, I'm a game designer. You know what I mean? Like I just kept doing that. And it's like, okay, well, and so like
Like hopefully he'd break like first.
exactly. Dude,
Yeah,
I didn't know what to
break
do. So
first.
they ended up leaving, and I was continuing to talk with the person I had been conversing with for this whole time. And he's like, okay, and he's describing me what this full-time position is going to be. So I went from like this mentality of contract, where okay, I'll probably do this for a little bit, but keep looking for something else, to full-time, which was a little bit daunting at the time, and then having this experience, knowing I have to be working in this environment, and he's describing to me the job and what the next steps will be, and I'm just sitting there, like, no joke, I'm sitting there, he's looking at me, and if the camera is his eyes, I'm sitting there like this. and he's like, hey, you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm processing everything. So, like,
wow.
dude, I was like, I mean, in my head, I'm like, what was that? It's like, I was like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? I was like, am I really gonna work here? Like, this is, but I had to. Like,
Yeah.
I was unemployed and needed a job, blah blah. So, and then history is of itself. I shouldn't have been working there.
Was
as long as
this
I didn't.
was this after you had just like left a other job though?
Yeah, yeah,
So this is in Chicago?
yeah. Well, this is in Seattle.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that was, and there's other bad experiences that I've had on interviews with a phone. By the way, the phone interviews are one of the worst ways to conduct an interview. I hate them. There's nothing good
They're
about
tough.
them. They're so
Yeah.
tough. You can't hear. It's hard to like actually pronunciate what you're talking about. Hear them. You might lose signal. You're in a spot most likely where you're in a car or you're in the corner.
Yeah,
or
like you had to like take the call somewhere.
Yeah,
Like,
it's.
I mean, I notice a lot of people do Skype now. That makes more sense because you can have the camera and like do that or whatever. That was like my interview for my current job at Nitrogen for Sausage Party and stuff. That was another time where I was local and they were like, "Oh, thank God! Like finally we get to see somebody face to face," because they've been doing like Skype interviews for like all these people, and they were just like, "Thank God!" Because last night was a couple people's last day, and we were just getting like drunk at work or whatever, and just like reminiscing. And my supervisor has all the notes from our interviews actually about what she wrote like when we were doing the interview.
Oh, that's so
Nice.
Yeah, it's so cool. So it's like nice. Like she wrote like really good stuff about me and everything. She was like, seems like he would be a good fit and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, thank God. Like she didn't like talk shit about me because I thought she didn't like me.
Too
Yeah.
tall.
Perfect.
But then
hair.
she was like,
Kind of
like,
cocky.
there was a butt at the very end, and I was like, oh, what's the butt? What's the butt? And she was like, oh, like apparently they had interviewed somebody else before me, like this lady, and they were gonna hire her for my job instead. But what happened was she was being kind of like a pain to deal with negotiation wise for like pay and stuff.
Really?
So they ended up, so they ended up just like passing on her because like they couldn't like come to an agreement on what like the terms were. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so I was like, so basically you got me because I was like cheap and easy, like.
That's funny.
You were the
like,
hooker.
yeah.
you
Exactly.
hate to hear that, but it's awesome that it worked out in your
Yeah,
favor.
well,
Hey,
the guy that was
doesn't matter.
leaving, his interview was on Skype, and he's like, if you knew him, he's like very like stone faced, but like is definitely like funny guy. He doesn't like react very well.
Uh-huh.
Like, and so during the interview, they were like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like they were like trying so hard to like get him to crack a smile or anything. And so like in the interview notes, they were like seems like very smart, like everything. but is a bit flat and boring. And like once
nice.
they knew him, they were like, oh, like it's not like that at all. But it was just so funny. He was just like, what the hell, guys? Like,
Just deadpans everything.
yeah, basically, like he's just not a very emotive guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it
cool.
was just funny. But it's cool that she kept all those notes.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had a pretty difficult interview once. I was bartending at the time, still working for my father and everything, just like going out trying to find other positions, and because I got my finance degree, so I'm like trying all these like different finance firms and all these things, and I went on this one interview, and I was like, I'm just gonna go for it, and it was a job that was way out of my pay grade and way out of my league, and I get there. And I walk in, and they ask me for my portfolio of like my clients that I have for like investments and stuff. I was like, I don't have one.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they're like asking me all these questions and stuff like that. I'm like, and like in my head, I'm like, I should not be here. I should not be interviewing for this. How did this happen?
That's not your fault.
Yeah.
That's the recruiter's fault.
But I sat
Yeah.
there and like, in literally, this was like a 6-figure like financial advisor kind of job.
Could you imagine
And
if you got it?
So what
there
if
was
you like
no way.
bullshitted your way through it?
Dude,
Oh my god.
There was
You're getting
no
sent at
way.
the desk, you're like,
It happens. that would have been
Yeah.
amazing. It'd be
And
like that
the
Michael
guy
J.
was
Fox
actually-
movie.
The guy was really cool. He was actually like a little bit older than me at the time. He was very smart and everything, and he was telling me, he's like, look, at like towards like the end, he's like, I understand that this really isn't going to be your fit. He goes, but this might be something for you in the future. I'll keep you in mind. So it was really cool. But
That's
like
cool. He handled
the time
it well. Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
yeah, when you're sitting there and they're asking you for like these things, and you're like, I have my resume, and
Yeah, where's your 401k and the PPO and the GIED?
Yeah.
it's
You're like,
in the CAR. I'll be right
my
back.
gad.
It's in the CAR. There you go.
It's
Get on the
CAR.
DDLs. Don't jail over your B's.
yeah.
Yeah, in jail over these.
Don't worry, see jail over.